The 2020 NBA draft class had many talented prospects, with guys like LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards just being taken with the first 3 picks. In the first round alone, you had guys like Tyrese Halliburton, Cole Anthony, Isaiah Stewart, Tyrese Maxey, many guys that would go on to be talented players. And one of those players was selected with the 10th overall pick from Maryland, and his name was Jalen Smith. What at first was a waste of a lottery pick has now turned into a solid role player that could really be a steal in free agency. So how did a player go from someone that no one cared about in the 2020 draft class to now being one of the more underrated players on the Phoenix Suns and has an opportunity to really break out of his shell this season? Of course, before I get into the content, if you guys could leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new and notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year, and your subscription would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the video. Now, Jalen Smith is a very interesting player. See, he's not someone that's exactly going to be in the starting lineup, but he's not a flashy player, but he gets it done. He's a good rebounder, but he does have a couple flaws, but I mostly want to focus on the fact that he's very criminally underrated. And I'm not necessarily trying to tell you that Jalen Smith is going to be on the Phoenix Suns forever, because we all know that the Phoenix Suns have a very good rotation of centers and forwards with guys like Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson, DeAndre Ayton obviously as a center, Dario Saric, who has had a torn ACL for the longest time but is set to return hopefully next year, Frank Kaminsky, JaVale McGee. They have so many guys at the forward and center position, which used to be a weakness for them, but now that's not so much of a weakness. JaVale was definitely the last piece that the Phoenix Suns did need to hopefully make a push for the NBA Finals, as I do plan to make a video on him very soon. But because of all the Rona stuff going on and with players being in and out of protocols, Jalen Smith has gotten an opportunity to play in some games, and I'm not gonna lie, he's been very impressive. In his rookie season, he was very quiet and he did not play a whole lot of games due to the fact that he had an injury, and on top of that, where were they gonna fit him in? In the playoffs, he had a few flashes here and there of being in games, mostly when they were up by 20 or if they were down by 20. I don't even know if that happened. But this season, Jalen Smith's production has gone up a lot, as he's been playing around 15 minutes per game with 7.5 points per game and 5.3 rebounds, shooting about 49% from the field. I do want to remind you guys that mostly to start off the season, he was playing the same like he did in 2020, as he was just getting a couple minutes here and there, but it wasn't until the Rona stuff hit the Suns that he really started to get some more playing time. And if we start counting his stats around December 27th, which was the first game that he had played more significant time, and this is when all the Rona stuff started to happen, he's actually averaging around 10.6 points per game. So realistically, if we look at it at the fact that he's playing about 15 to 20 minutes per game, he could easily average about 10 and 7. But there's a reason why he's not getting a lot of playing time, and that's because there's not that many spots that the Suns could put him on the rotation. Now, I made a video about Cam Johnson not too long ago, and in the comment section below, some people did mention that they would want to make a trade for a better power forward, and that trade would involve guys like Dario Saric and maybe even Jalen Smith. Realistically, I think the smart thing would honestly be to keep Jalen Smith and see how he develops, because he's not exactly your normal 4 or 5. It has came out lately that he does want to play the 5 a lot more, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they have guys like DeAndre Ayton, Frank Kaminsky, JaVale McGee, and I would take just about all those guys except maybe Frank Kaminsky over Jalen Smith. Even if he wanted to play his normal spot, which is power forward, that'd be difficult because they have guys like Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson. So being third on the depth chart as a power forward, which is your primary position, would not make a whole lot of sense. Even if you want to play your secondary position, which you want to make your primary, which is center, you would be the 4th in the depth chart. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, and if we look at it from a pretty easy perspective, it seems like that Jalen Smith doesn't even have any room to be on the team. Now, personally, I've started to like Jalen Smith lately. I think that his play has been really good and he's a solid role player. However, this doesn't tell me the fact that Jalen Smith has the opportunity to be a really good player on another team. Whether that's the Phoenix Suns wait for his contract to end and kind of just hold him around and see what he's worth, or you try to package him in a trade for either a big name player or just again another solid role player. If it was up to me and I'm the Phoenix Suns general manager, I would probably try to get another small forward just to be in your rotation. Taking a look at the roster, they do not have a backup small forward, and unless you're trying to move Jay Crowder to backup small forward, which I like him as a power forward and I honestly think that he's good in certain lineups and him playing small forward would make no sense, I think Jalen Smith could be of value when it comes to a trade situation. situation. I will say, I think that Jalen Smith playing for the Phoenix Suns would definitely benefit his career, and he has definitely picked up some things that are very underrated about his game, like his athleticism, his IQ. However, he does have a small problem that a lot of people saw coming into the draft, and that was his ability to finish underneath the basket, even though on the screen right now you just saw him dunking on Mason Plumlee. I will admit, I did not watch him in college. I didn't even know who he was when we drafted him, so yeah, I don't know how true that is. I don't know if they were just saying that just because, or if there's some legitimacy to it. Regardless, it seems like Jalen Smith has gotten better when it comes to finishing at the rim. He has a pretty lanky frame, and it seems like that he has the ability to rebound just about versus anyone, and that he can really make some plays down low. Now, this is where things get interesting, because Jalen Smith is having a third-year option that is going to be available during this year's offseason. So I gotta ask you guys, do you think it is smart for the Phoenix Suns to pick up Jalen Smith's third-year option? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, I might have read it wrong, but apparently it might be where the team, he has the option as a player, but the team can decline. I don't know, it's very confusing, but basically the Suns have an opportunity to either say, yes, we want to re-sign you for the following season, or no, get the hell out of here, which depending how big the option is, because he was the 10th overall pick in that draft, I don't know how big it's going to be exactly, but there's no way it's more than like 5 million. Okay, so apparently I'm really terrible at my job, because the Phoenix Suns have actually declined his third-year option months ago. Now, as I predicted, the option is about $4.7 million, so just a little bit of shy of 5 mil, but yeah, they did not accept it. Now, as crazy as this might sound, I do believe that at the end of the season, the Phoenix Suns will actually just re-sign him, but they won't use the option. He's an unrestricted free agent, so he can sign to the Phoenix Suns again if he absolutely wants to, but the only reason why I say this is because during November, that's when Jalen Smith barely played. I know last year he spent a lot of his time in the G League, and maybe he played some in the G League this year, I don't exactly remember, but almost 2 months later, Jalen Smith finally started to break out, so I honestly do believe that the Phoenix Suns will make an attempt to re-sign Jalen Smith. I mean, can you blame them for not wanting to pick up his option? He literally was doing nothing, and he was putting up garbage points. Only very recently, in these past couple of weeks, has Jalen Smith finally started to develop for the Phoenix Suns. Now, of course, we have to look at the opportunity of, okay, if Jalen Smith does not get picked up by the Phoenix Suns, would he fit on a good team as a starting center or power forward? I don't know what he's actually going to play. He was listed as a power forward, but he told Monty Williams he wants to play more center. Realistically, looking at it, he could probably play for a team like the Pistons or one of those lower ranked teams, or maybe even a team like the Hornets that need a center. I think Jalen Smith would have an opportunity to play well on that team, but other than that, there's really not that many teams that I think Jalen Smith could actually start for. He probably does have an opportunity this season to build up his resume so he could try to get a contract elsewhere, but with all of that being said, I'm not exactly sure I'm so fond on Jalen Smith being re-signed this year for the Suns. With everything I just said, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you guys do leave a like on this and subscribe to the channel if you are new and notifications on. I will see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Take care. Peace. So it turns out at the end of recording this, as the video is literally like halfway rendered, it comes out that the Boston Celtics do have an interest in getting Jalen Smith, so take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, cue the outro.